Okay, have you made any changes to anything? So basically, parent paid 1.2 million for all the shares of the subsidiary. At the time of the purchase of the shares, the subsidiary equity was share capital 500,000, retained earnings 500,000. And at the time of the purchase of the shares, land in the books of the subsidiary, so everything was valued at fair value except land, which was valued at a cost of 50,000 but had a fair value of 150,000. Okay, so basically, remember previously what we did is we simply debited share capital. Okay, 500,000, right? You happy with that? We debited retained earnings with 500,000. And we credited, how much did they pay? 1.2, right? So we credited investment with 1.2 million. Okay? Everyone happy with that so far? Okay, so what we could do is just go, okay, let's debit goodwill with 200,000. But what's the problem with just doing that? Debiting goodwill with 200,000. Have the parent paid 1.2 million because of goodwill? What's the reason they paid 1.2? Okay, because of this land, that's one of the reasons why they paid more than the equity value. It's not just because of goodwill, it's also because of land. So what's going to happen is, in the books of the subsidiary, they are leaving the land at cost. So in the books of the subsidiary, you will find that land is sitting at 50,000. Yeah? But for the group, okay, you want it to be at fair value. So when you actually buy those shares and you put the assets of the subsidiary in the books of the group, you want them to be at their fair value. Okay? Okay, so because they haven't been, this land has not been revalued in the books of the subsidiary, we will do the revaluation as a consolidation adjustment. So we will do the revaluation, so we will simply say debit land 150, no, 100. Okay, we will credit revaluation reserve surplus with how much? 100. What we're also going to do is credit deferred tax liability with 30. And this is going to be 70. Yeah? Now remember that when you increase the value of an asset and you take the amount to a revaluation reserve, you also have to take into account deferred tax liability. Because what happens is when the asset is revalued, basically for tax purposes, it's not revalued. If you sell the asset at the new fair value, you will have a tax profit. And basically what they're saying, and they're being very conservative and cautious, but they're saying you need to put aside money that you'll have to pay on any profit on sale as a result of the increase in value. And that's basically this deferred tax liability. It's like an accrued tax that you'll need to pay in the future if you sell the asset and you make a profit. So basically you always take 100,000, which is the increase, multiply by 30%. That goes to deferred tax liability. Okay? And then the rest will go to revaluation reserve. Okay, so basically what happens here is you have your debit and credit. You will have a debit here. Okay. You will also recognize a revaluation reserve. So, yeah. Okay, so basically this is going to be debit revaluation reserve. Basically that's recognized as though as part of equity of the subsidiary. And what we do next is we will Does that add up to 1.2 million?
No.
No? So we will then have a debit, and it will go to, the balance will go to goodwill. And the amount will be? Sorry? 30. Okay, it should be probably 130, yeah. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong there. So it should be 130,000, and then obviously the debits will then obviously equal the credits.